All right, let's actually get logged in here and start adventuring. So if you recall from the previous video, we created our new character Prothall. So we're actually going to log in as Prothall. We're going to pick our starting town, look at some of the information about our character, and then finally hit up our Guildmaster so we can start using some of our skills that are associated with the warrior. So go ahead and enter your character name. Put in your super secret password. Hopefully I remember mine. Bingo. And then just go ahead and hit 1 to enter the game once you get to this point. So when you first log in as a new character, you're going to start in nowhere. Normally you would be in the inn of whatever town that you rented in, but since we're brand spanking new, we start out in nowhere. It says right here that you may choose your starting point by simply typing it or speaking the location's name. So if we had indicated that we were new when we created the character, we would have automatically defaulted to Solace. However, I did not, so we're actually going to say Solace here, or just type in Solace. There is a stack of maps, but we don't need to grab one because once we pick our town, we should automatically be given a map of that city. So I'm just going to actually go ahead and say Solace here. And bingo, just like that, we have been transported, or we have fell from the heavens into a tourist office overlooking Solace. So let's go ahead and give I'm going to explain what all of this information means here first off. So the line that's in blue, that is the room description. The paragraph underneath that is basically just it's information about the room, which you are going to want to get used to reading, because as you're out adventuring and exploring, you're going to find that not everything shows up in the room. There is a lot of hidden secrets in this game that you're going to have to read the room description to try to figure out, and then there may be a hidden object in the room that you have to look at to interact with. The next piece down here in yellow, so this is a non-hidden object in the room that you can interact with. So there is a long torch functioning as a street lamp, and we may not be able to actually do anything with it, but we can at least look at it. So like if we typed look torch, it'll give us information about the torch. So there may be something else in the room of a little more importance than a torch that we want to look at, but that's just an example. So anything that shows up in yellow is a object that you can interact with and look at. Anything that is in red, that is an object that is either going to be a character or an NPC that you can interact with. So right there we can see that there is a little girl in the same room as us. So if we type look girl, we'll get a description of the girl. So it's looks like a Solace tourist information attendant. So this last line down here is going to be the most important line that you're going to want to be paying close attention to, especially starting out. So the 46H, that is the number of hit points that you have. So Prothall is starting out at level 1, has 46 hit points. And as we're fighting monsters, we're going to see that tick up and down. The next piece, the 131V, that is our vitality or our movement points. So that's the number of times that we can move between rooms before we need to rest and get more. And you'll find that when you're in town, this number, it's kind of a 1-to-1 ratio. As we move across rooms, it only takes 1 or 2 vitality away. If you get out on the open road and you're not on a horse or flying, you're going to see that number dwindle very quickly. So you're going to want to make sure that you have either a fly or a horse when you leave town, otherwise you're going to run out of vitality very quickly. The next number here, 1499X, that is the number of experience points that we need to get to the next level. So we have a little bit of work to do. This 0.00%, that is our percentage of rank that we have scored. And you're going to notice that you aren't going to see that really progressing until you get a couple levels under your belt and actually start killing monsters with more significance. When you're killing worms and goblins and stuff like that, you aren't going to get any rank for that. But as you start killing like epic monsters, you'll see that tick up, and we'll cover what that's used for in another video. The 0C, we're basically dead broke. We got not even a red cent to our name, so that is the number of coins that we have, which is currently 0, and then the exits in the room. So right now we can go down. That is the only exit available to us. Again, there isn't going to be a secret, and at least I don't think there's any secret entrances or exits here, so But again, that's where you would read the room description to see if maybe you could find another exit or something else to interact with. So that is a quick rundown of the kind of what we're looking at. Let's go ahead and actually, we're going to stay here for a second in this room, just because there isn't going to be people running by and additional chatter. So we can just kind of like explore our character a little bit. So first off, to see information about your character, all you have to do is type in score. And that's going to show us everything we need to know about ourselves. So we get our name, we're a human, level 1 warrior, we're ranked 0, which we've already covered. You can see that we've completed 0% of the next rank. It's our birthday today, so that's kind of cool. We're 17 years old, and that will actually, you will see that tick up, and that can affect your hit points and movement points as you get older. So right now we have 46 hit points and 131 vitality. Our behavior has been neutral, so that's our alignment right there. We have scored 1 experience point, so we're pretty sad adventurers at this point. We're still broke. How much we need to advance. If your character has ever died, it will show that there. You will die. At least I always die. If you look at this and you have no deaths, then get out and explore is all I can say. We've been connected for 4 minutes. It shows you how much playtime you have invested. I wish there was a cumulative score. I'd be curious to see how much I have across all my characters. Actually, I probably don't want to see that because they would have to have like a year tick there. But anyways, you can see that information. It's going to show you if your equipment is currently being concealed or not. We are barely feeling the weight of our items, so encumbrance is a thing in the game. If you slay a dragon and there is all kinds of awesome loot there, and you try to get everything in the room, there's a chance that it could be too much, and you need to call in some of your friends to help you haul it away. So the number of items that you carry it does make a difference. And then it shows us what our current state is, if we're standing, resting, sleeping, stuff like that. So if we were to rest, it would show that we were resting. If we were to sleep, it would show that we were sleeping right there. So that is everything about your character. Let's go ahead and take a look at we're going to look at our skills next, and we're going to see here, and we just type skill to see our skills. We're going to see that we have not learned any skills. This means that we need to go to our Guildmaster, which is actually the last thing that we're going to cover. So you just type skill to see your skills. We'll go over that a little bit more once we visit the Guildmaster. Let's go ahead and type spell, even though we are not a spellcaster, we're a warrior. But if you had picked a spellcaster, this is where you would see your spells. And right now our spellbook is empty. Again, we're a warrior. If we were a druid or a mage or a shaman, we would see spells that show up here after we go to our Guildmaster and learn. But that's going to be how you actually see them. Next, let's look at our inventory. So these are the things that we are carrying with us. We actually have a map here, which we'll look at in just a second as well. We have a training sword, a leather bag that we can put things in, a lantern so we can see. There is, if it's dark and you're a character that cannot see in the dark, so for instance, Prothall is a human, we aren't going to see anything unless we're holding or using a lantern. There is infravision and night vision in the game. If you have a character that has infravision, you can make out other living beings in the room, but you can't see the whole room description. If you have night vision, you could see the whole room description as well as see any other NPCs or characters in the room. We have a complimentary stable note, so we can get ourselves a horse, and then we also have some food and water. Do not leave town without filling up your water skin and making sure you have some food on you. If you get out in the wilderness and you run out of food and water and get exhausted, it's going to be a long trek back to town. So hopefully you have a recall scroll with you if you find yourself in that situation. So again, always make sure you have food and water. Next, let's look at the bag real quick just to show you how that works. So if we type examine bag or look bag, it gives us information about the bag. You can actually put items in your bag. So there are kenders in Kryn, and they may try to steal items out of your inventory if you aren't securing them. So I like to stick all of my valuables in a bag or a chest, preferably one that I'm wearing. But we're not wearing one right now, so this will have to do. So to interact with the bag, it's as easy as put bread bag. Now it's in the bag. If we type examine bag, we can see it in there. To get it out, just type get bread bag. And if you want to put more than one item in the bag, you can do something like put all bag. That throws everything in there that we can, or that'll fit anyways. You can see that the water skin actually didn't fit. Or we can type get all bag. And you can also do stuff like this. We can type put all.bread bag and get all.bread bag. So a couple different ways to do that to interact with your bag. Next, let's look at our equipment. We aren't just running around naked, at least not yet anyways. So we type EQ for equipment, and that's going to show us what we are wielding, holding, and wearing. So you can see here we got a bunch of awesome training equipment. We got a training shield, a wrist lantern, so we could actually see in the dark, and then we have a training longsword that we're using. Now, Prothall being a warrior, he is priming a sword and then wearing a shield so that we can bash. I would actually recommend at level 1, all your skills are going to be at awful, and you aren't going to land too many actual bashes. So what I like to do is just kind of bash with just weapons. I don't actually use a shield just so I can double hit. So let's actually go ahead and remove our shield. To do that, we just type it remove shield. If we wanted to wear it again, wear shield. But we're going to actually remove that shield. And let's look at our inventory again because we had another weapon. We have a short training sword. Let's go ahead and hold our sword. So now we hold a sword as a secondary weapon. If we type EQ again, we can see that we are now prime-handing a longsword and off-handing a short sword. Now, you hold an offhand weapon, you wield a primary weapon. So let's go ahead and remove long. And then just to show you how that works, we type WI for wield, long, and then we start using the sword again. Everything else is kind of just remove or wear. So we can remove lantern, wear lantern, so on and so forth. Same thing with like remove cap, wear cap. So that's how you interact with your equipment and your inventory. And I think that brings us to actually going and talking to our Guildmaster so we can learn some of our skills and actually get out there and start doing some stuff as a warrior. So let's go ahead and we're in Solace right now. We're going to go down to the Solace Square, and then I'm going to switch over to the map. We'll actually look at the map real quick. We should have a map in our inventory. Yeah, we do. So if we type look map. Oh, I forgot that this changed. So we're going to read first and read second. So you can see that it's been separated into two different segments, and that has to do with the ground floor and then the canopy level. If you are again familiar with Dragonlance and Solace, you know that there is it's kind of it's a tree town essentially. So let's type read first, and that'll show us all of the different locations that are on, I think, the ground level. Yep, weapon shop is on the ground, so that's all the ground level stuff. And then if we type read second, this is all the the canopy level locations. But we're gonna, so you can try to, I think it's a little bit easier as a new player to decipher the map on the website. So we're actually gonna switch over to that real quick just so I can show you it there, and then we're gonna find out where our Guildmaster is. First, let's go ahead and go down to Solace Square, though. I feel like that's a good starting location for a new player to get to any of the points that you want to get to. So we're gonna go down, down, down. And now we are at the Solace Square. You can see there's a stray dog here. Let's, I thought pet was a keyword. I don't think it is, though. Sounds kind of gross, but let's stroke the dog. We lovingly run our fingers through the dog's hair. Let's just, real quick, just because I want to show you. If you type H for help, social, these are all kinds of fun commands that you can play with. I'm not going to ruin any of these. Check these out yourself. Fun stuff to do on your group mates and just other characters and stuff as you're interacting with them in the game. You'll love that list. Anyways, back to what we were doing. Let's find the warrior Guildmaster. Let's switch over to that. You should be seeing the ArcticMUD webpage now, and we have a map of Solace pulled up. So you can see right here, we are in the Solace Square right now. And to read this, we want to get to, if you recall from the previous video, the ones that are in the kind of hot pinkish purple, those are the Guildmaster. So we're trying to get to the warrior Guildmaster. If you were a scout, obviously there, shaman, mage, so on and so forth. So to read this we're in the square, this little squiggly line here is showing that you can go up. So it goes up and down right here. Once you're in this location, you can go either up or down, and then the other ones correspond to north, south, east, west. So what we got to do is we got to go back up, and then it looks like we have to go south, and then we go squiggly line up again, and then it looks like west is going to put us at the warrior guildmaster. So again, this is going to be up, south, up, west. Let's see if that actually gets us to where we want to be. Switch back over to the game here. So I said up, south, up, west. We are in the Hall of Bravery and Combat, and it looks like Thule Shieldbearer, the Master Warrior, stands here bellowing at his students. So we're getting yelled at for being a horrible warrior at the moment. So once you have located your Guildmaster, all you have to do is just type Learn All. And you're going to do this every time you level, and also you'll, as you're skilling up and doing stuff between levels, you can come back here and learn to bring up your skills between levels. You don't only have to do it when you level. Well, actually, you always want to do it when you level, but you can do it between levels as well. So if we type Learn All, we have now learned all of our skills. I always like to type Learn All twice just to make sure I got everything. Now when we type Skill, it's actually going to show that we have learned our skills and we're just awful at them. Instead of not learned, it has now been updated to awful. So this first section here is all of our weapon skills. The second is the other skills that we have available to us. So we have Bash, Kick, Rescue, and Vigor. The Bash, Kick, and Rescue are all skills that we can actually do. Vigor and all the weapon skills are all kind of passive skills. So you have to be wielding an axe to skill up axes, wielding a longsword to skill up, or long blade to skill up long blades, so on and so forth. To get information about your skills, it's as easy as just typing help and then the skill name. So we're going to type help bash, or help skill bash, because it is a skill. And that's going to give us information about the bash skill. So it's quite simple, knock an enemy to the ground. It doesn't get any easier than that, right? So again, just type help, skill, and then the skill name. Now, if you were a spellcaster and you had learned all, again, you would have spells showing up in your spell book. You would type help, spell, and then the spell name, like magic missile. And we'll probably actually do a video on that just to make sure that's the right syntax. I can't remember if it has to be in quotes or not, but it may need to be like that. But that is how you get additional information on your spells and skills. So we are all skilled up now. We know about our character. We know what to look for in the rooms. I think we are actually ready to set out and go do some adventuring. So I think that's a good place to end this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw that down below in the comments. We're not going to rent because I think I'm going to start up the next video right after this, and we'll actually go out and kill some stuff, and then we'll go over how to actually rent. So yeah, let's end that there. Thank you for watching, and never stop gaming.